Hello and welcome to our Thursday night Bible study, our Dear Lady Elect Bible study. And we're so thankful that you've been joining us on Thursday nights. We look forward to the time we spend with you. And as we continue in the letters that Judy wrote, we are just so thankful for what the Lord's doing in women's lives.
Amen.
And we hope that you'll leave us some comments and some questions if you have them too. We really would appreciate that. And please smash the like button on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you see us. Thanks, Angela and Judy.
And Debbie.
And with that, we're going to get started.
Sure. And we're on the September letter, top of page 8 for those of you following with us. God was calling me to love my husband without my expecting to be loved in return. This is exactly opposite of the natural love people have for each other. Some people love and can bear a lot of rejection, but eventually they reach an end. Their love could not bear all things. This is where I was when God began to work a miracle in me. I was at the end of myself. I said to myself, here I am, a Christian, and I can't even love my husband. I then prayed, Lord, if you're in me and you love my husband, you're going to have to do the loving for me. I soon found out how real Christ was within me and how much he loved my husband, even in his sins. I learned this because Christ took possession of my heart and loved my husband through me.
We talked a little bit last week about when we're loved and we're not loved the way we want to be. Mm-hmm. We get resentful and irritable and we want to give up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is a whole, I mean, I can hear some people say, well, isn't your husband supposed to love you? And I think ideally, yeah.
He's supposed to.
Yeah, but that's not supposed to be your source of identity or satisfaction.
Right.
Your source has to be greater than that because, as we said here, there's some people that are able to take a lot, but then eventually they run out. Mm-hmm. And we've all ran out. And this is where God found me in this time of my life. I just ran out. I had nothing else to give.
Yeah, that's a scary place to be.
That's it. But then I was to learn of the love of God that's eternal. Mm-hmm. You know, it never stops. It doesn't have an end. You before we started recording, you mentioned the living waters in John 7:38. And it says, if you believe in me, out of your bellies, out of your innermost being will flow rivers of love. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that your life? Does that describe you? Does it describe me, Ange, Deb?
Yeah. Are we pouring forth Christ?
Yeah, because with unlimited supplies. And you know, the only thing it says you have to do to have these living waters is believe in him. No, we all say, oh, I believe in him. Mm-hmm. Where's the rivers?
Yeah.
And really our circumstances are designed by God. And he's a jealous God. Mm-hmm. So if we're expecting all those expectations, which I'm starting to deem expectations are just self. Self. Mm-hmm. And self was crucified. So as soon as I'm going to catch myself in an expectation, that's crucified.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And once you've committed to God and you say, I believe, he's going to make your circumstances and a lot of bringing you to the end of self.
Yeah, he does it.
He
it's not
does
your
it.
husband.
Yeah, right. Not
right.
actually your husband. It's a jealous God that wants all your love, and he wants us to know that he's there. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to receive the love we want until we've put God in the appropriate order, first and foremost.
I think a lot of Christians, unfortunately, and I was there for many years in my Christianity, I was still praying to God as if he was in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Jesus said in John 14 that me and my Father and the Spirit will come and make our abode inside of you, I didn't access that. I still thought he was outside of
Yeah,
me.
it sounds so abstract, but it really isn't.
So God is real.
Yes, and we can believe what his word says about
Yeah.
him, about himself. Right.
Yeah, and I think that when we we have to come to that place where we know he lives within us. When you talk to God, he's not in some faraway place. You hope he might hear you,
Right.
but he's this close.
He's in you.
But he's not going to be manifested in you until, as you said, we pick up our cross and realize that we were crucified with him. Because we both can't occupy the same space.
Right.
We're going to have God fill me and Judy fill me. Doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
And I love, this is something that I realized more recently as well. Jesus prayed for this oneness. His prayer, is it John 16, like the whole chapter?
Yes.
I'm getting better. This is Jesus's prayer, that we are one with our Heavenly Father just as He was. So if we know prayers are answered and whatever you ask, you receive, it felt like a whole new level to me that we all have our prayers, but this was Jesus's prayer.
For us.
For us to have that oneness if we let him take over.
And he's in God in arranging our circumstances to the place where we're at the end of ourselves. He's preparing a place for himself so that he can fill. We do.
And that's
there
source.
is that end of yourself, and it's not walking out of your situation, because that's where most people lose. Instead of letting God do the work in you, which he promised, we quit.
We quit. And it's
We quit, we give up.
but
Throw in
there's
the towel.
perseverance in it. And I forget exactly how the verse is written, but perseverance produces character. Character produces hope. So as we persevere through these trials and not getting our expectations met, that's just helping us scoop out all the self-related things. And that's when your character is built. I know, thinking of it more on an automatic or continual basis, that am I pleasing God? Is this next action or the next thing I'm doing pleasing God? And the more you persevere at pleasing only him, that I feel like my character is changing. That's me decrease and
Yeah, actually,
increasing.
it's not actually that we change, it's just that we decrease.
We decrease.
Right.
And Christ increases, and it pleases God because Jesus is the actual one in us. We're one spirit with him now. So he's actually the one doing the loving. It's like here, when I came to the place, I thought, I can't love this man. But you love everybody. It says that while we were yet sinners, Christ loved us.
Right.
So if he loved me while I was still a sinner, and he loves Dan while he's still a sinner, why can't he love Dan for me? Because I can't do it. And it seems like you're passing the buck. But that's exactly what he wants you to do. He wants you to say, I can't. I had a friend one time who says the best words that ever came from my lips were, I can't. Because that's where God could.
I think I've kind of felt that reassurance from God when I get to that point too.
Yeah.
And it's almost in desperation. You're like, I can't do it.
You're going to have to do it for me.
Yeah.
Through me. Yeah.
This is how Christ became real in me.
That's what was a realness that was like the whisper would be, no, like, no, you can't, and you're not supposed to. I don't know. Like, it was just really soothing whenever I kind of bump into those situations.
We want to
You're not
experience.
supposed to do it. You're right. You can't do it.
That's right.
Kind of in your mind.
We want to experience the love of God, and we think that somehow God's love, we're going to experience it this way. But when Christ is in us and he's loving somebody through us, we experience his love as if it flows through our members.
Right.
we look at people differently.
Absolutely.
You see them as Christ sees them, with love.
And you know, what thought comes to my mind is how our husbands are watching our behavior, and we can win them without a word, and how we are responding. And if we're responding with the love of Christ, then they're seeing that, and it makes a difference.
It is how we become lights in the world. Who else
Right,
loves and bears all
Right.
things and believes all things and endures all things?
right,
Except Christ.
Right.
And how come we can display Christ? And it should be noticeable.
And you know,
You know-
while the Lord's working on us and everything, He's working on our husbands and others as well. So it's a wonderful thing. I mean,
Yeah, but it's through us loving and believing and enduring that gives us the power to win.
yes, absolutely.
Paul said in 1 Corinthians 9:19, "I'll be all things to all men that I may win the more." I can win somebody, but I can't. But Christ is in me.
That's right.
I mean, if you get a hold of the
He's
fact
doing the
that
work.
He is
Yeah.
in you, and that, you know what that does? It wipes away all your excuses. You can't say, "But you don't know how hard it is, Lord." I'm in you. I know exactly how it is. I arrange your circumstances and your situation.
Created you.
would count. Yeah, and I put you in this situation so you would get to know me and that person that you once loved.
Yeah,
Will get to know me too through a renewed love.
right.
And I love the depth that he's in us when he refers to the bone marrow. I think
I
I've
like that.
mentioned on one. So he's not just in you or your heart. By saying bone marrow and blood, it's the factor of blood, and that life is blood. Your bone marrow is where your blood is made. So he's not just saying I'm in your blood. He's saying marrow to marrow. The
Deepest part of your being.
deep, exactly.
Right.
That's where I was trying. It's the deepest part of your being. He's there. If you kind of let him come out, and it is a process, which is why I've loved more recently. Any sin still cannot keep you from the love of God.
No.
So
Right.
keep just wiping that clear through confession.
Yeah, he's never irritable. He's never resentful. He bears all things in us. He endures all things in us. He doesn't keep a record of wrongs done against him
Right.
in us. He doesn't keep that. And when he's in us, loving somebody, he's the same way. He doesn't change. And you get a fountain in you that never stops flowing with the love of God. And there's nobody outside of you that can make it stop. You can refuse to be available to the Spirit of God, but no matter what they're doing, you can continue to love them and know Christ. And that's the goal of the spiritual life. If you don't have that, you're
Nothing.
okay.
Well, with that, thank you again so much for joining us. I hope this has been edifying for you. And the things that you're learning here, please pass them on to others. Let them know about this study, and share what we're doing here with others. We look forward to seeing you again next week, Thursday night, 8 o'clock. Again, Facebook, YouTube. Just put in Dear Lady Elect. We appreciate it. Have a grace week.